Today is the 17th of May 2020. In the lectionary it's called the 6th Sunday of Easter, even though it's the 5th Sunday after Easter. That's because in the lectionary the first Sunday of Easter is Easter Sunday itself. So welcome to a brief reflection on the text for today. But let us begin in prayer. Living Lord our God, as we continue to ponder the script of our life, may we depend on you to co-author the story with us. When we monopolize the pen, there are unhelpful characters that make an appearance and cause all kinds of mischief. Characters like selfishness, self-centeredness, self-indulgence, self-pity, self-derogation. These characters sabotage our efforts to find peace and fulfillment. So, Lord, take the pen from us, write new characters into the script, that we may come to know them, characters like love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, humility, and self-control. We will feel that we are living a fuller life, one that has significance unto eternity. Living Lord our God, edit out all the mistakes we have made. Remove the sinful inclinations from our hearts. Assure us of your accompaniment and transform the trajectory of our future paths. This we ask because we have learned the hard way to put more store in your writing ability than in our own. Amen. Today's text is John 14 from verse 15 to 21, the promise of the Holy Spirit. If you love me, you will obey my commandments. I will ask the Father, and he will give you another helper, who will stay with you forever. He is the Spirit who reveals the truth about God. The world cannot receive him because it cannot see him or know him, but you know him because he remains with you and is in you. When I go, you will not be left all alone. I will come back to you. In a little while the world will see me no more, but you will see me. Because I live, you also will live. When that day comes, you will know that I am in my Father, and that you are in me, just as I am in you. Those who accept my commandments and obey them are the ones who love me. My Father will love those who love me. I too will love them and reveal myself to them. This reading forms part of a larger section beginning at the beginning of chapter 14 and running through to the end of chapter 17. It's known as the farewell discourse of Jesus. He knew the time was coming when he would no longer be present with his disciples in person, and he was preparing them. They didn't know what was coming. He's doing a kind of a handover. He's passing the baton on to them. He's entrusting his life work into their care and custodianship. They will have the privilege and responsibility of continuing his legacy. I wonder how differently they might have listened or acted had they known what was really going on. I wonder how we might have listened and acted if it was us. Yet is that not exactly what we have inherited from them? Are we not the next link in a long line of disciples that began with them and over the ages stretched right down to now? So we have inherited that handover, and now the responsibility and privilege of continuing the legacy of Jesus is also ours. So let's take note of what Jesus felt important to pass on in that moment. And there are three emphases in today's passage that we look at. Notice that they overlap to a degree. The first emphasis is on love. In this powerful passage, Jesus reiterates his favorite theme, love. It's an expression of his own nature, which in turn is a revelation of God's nature, for God is love. In verse 15, Jesus declares that if his disciples love him, they will keep his commandments. This is neither a condition or a threat, it's a description. It describes what happens. First comes the act of loving Jesus. Then follows, naturally, the act of keeping his commandments. It was Augustine of Hippo, a 4th century theologian, who said, "Love God and do whatever you please. For the soul trained in love to God will do nothing to offend the one who is beloved." Love God and do whatever you please. As the present day followers of Jesus, we should always be asking ourselves, how can I love God? And then the rest will take care of itself. The second emphasis is on the Paraclete. We will not be alone. We have a helper, the Paraclete, the Holy Spirit. So what at first would have appeared to be a tragedy to the disciples, namely that Jesus was departing from them, is turned on its head as they realize that his Spirit is given to them. And not only them, but all who follow Christ, including you and I. The promise of the Spirit's presence is vital. Jesus knows that what lies ahead cannot be done without help. He knows that the future is best faced with him by our side, helping us. We are given a helper in the form of the Holy Spirit, our advocate, comforter, counselor, our helper. As Jesus said, "I will ask the Father, and he will give you another helper to be with you forever." We are not alone. The full resources of heaven are at hand. Where? Inside of us. The Spirit will accompany us. This is good news, especially now when our whole world and way of life have been turned upside down. Accompaniment is just what we need. It's just the ticket. And perhaps it's just what we need to do. With this in mind, it is particularly Christian to ask, who needs my accompaniment now? And how can I offer that accompaniment to them? The third emphasis is on a new oneness. As Christians, we are familiar with the Trinity: God, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. 3 persons who make up one God. The Gospel of John implies that the intimate relationship between them is extended to the believers. Believers do not stand on the outside looking in, admiring the Trinity. They are assimilated into the Trinity and in effect become the 4th person of the Trinity. Is that not what Jesus is saying in verse 23? "Those who love me will keep my word, and my Father will love them. And we will come to them and make our home with them." Again, a statement of description. The believer is described not as an imitator of Christ, but as an expression of Christ, by virtue of being fully assimilated into the intimacy that characterizes the Godhead. With this in mind, we should constantly ask, how can I express Christ in this instant? So, you and I have inherited the continuing legacy of Jesus. And fortunately, we are not alone. He has given us a helper. Shall we close in prayer? Holy of Holies, come, worm your way into our everyday affairs, that with your help we may give expression to Christ and His love. God with us always, come, get under our skin, that we may react with love responses to the trials and tribulations of this life. Magnanimous Master and Lord, come, prompt us to pray for people and places, that your path of perfect love may be found by all. Jesus, make us aware of the spiritual realm, assuring us that you are constantly all around us and very much part of the physical realm where we live. Lord, hear our prayer. Amen.